It's another year, another modular set. Today we got the LEGO Tudor Corner. I'm Jordan. I'm going to be building and reviewing this set, so let's get right into it. Just like that, I'm done. So let's do a floor by floor tour. The main portion of the first floor is taken up by the old guarded inn, which has a bar, a seating area, and a kitchen in the back, as well as a little bathroom underneath the stairs. In the back of the first floor, we have the haberdashery, which I didn't know was the name for a hat maker, but it got lots of different fabrics and hats available there. The second floor is occupied entirely by clocksmiths. The clocksmith's workshop is a real busy space full of clocks. There's 10 different clocks set up and he's working on an 11th. I particularly like the grandfather clock the most. In the back, underneath the stairs, there is a closet featuring a vacuum. The second floor is accessible by an exterior staircase on the side. There's also a nice little fireplace. Up on the third floor, we have an apartment that's predominantly a pet lover's apartment, featuring a couch, a bookcase, and a whole bunch of cat toys and reptile containers. Not too much else to the apartment. There's a sink, a cool newspaper referencing a fireman saving a cat. Lastly, the roof, which in one way you can say there's nothing to the roof because it's just a flat piece. Also, half of the third floor is a very ornate roof. Starting with my positive thoughts of the set, I like how colorful the set is with all the different colors of bricks making up the facade and the flowers and all the ornate features of the exterior. One of the unique, nice benefits of this set is that as a corner building, I feel like a lot of the previous corner buildings have favored one side that's better to display first than the other. And the boutique hotel is the left side, whereas for Brick Bank, it's the right side. This set is nice in that I think the front looking at the tavern is a nice appealing side, but also the side favoring the haberdashery looks well from this side, and the fact that the restaurant juts out kind of fills out this corner on this side as well. So a positive there is that I think it can work on either side. And lastly, for the positives, I like that they've started adding more lighting to the sets. I feel like every set that comes along, they add a little bit of added realism with the addition of bathrooms, and they've had the staircases the whole time and making things make a little bit more sense logically. In this set, I noticed that they had a lot of lighting within the restaurant and the apartments, so it's a more feasible, actual, logical lighting setup that the rooms actually have lights in them, which is nice because a lot of buildings previously don't have lights within them. My more critical opinions of this set are, while I do think it looks good, there's not really that much in way of unique building experiences or Easter eggs within this set. Some of the other sets have hidden builds within them. This set does not have any, and it doesn't make any direct references within the set to any of the other modular buildings. In the instructions, there's lots of little tidbits about how the clockmaker worked on some of the clocks in the other sets and other things, but within the build itself, there's nothing unique about it, and no fun Easter eggs, which is a little bit disappointing. I mentioned it that the tavern is there and it's a little bit different than some of the other restaurants, and while I think every new restaurant that they add to the town is a little bit different, I would prefer to not have more restaurants, and especially with restaurants, they tend to dominate the whole first floor when they are in the builds, so they take up a decent amount of the space. So while I do think it's a cool restaurant, I would prefer other things besides restaurants, post offices, hospitals, that kind of thing that are missing, whereas we already have multiple restaurants. I may be wrong about this, but I don't experience a lot of buildings that have exterior staircases that walk down to the first floor on the exterior of the building. Maybe that is more common in certain parts of the world, but one, I don't love the look of having the exterior staircases on the sets, and the main issue that I have with it on the LEGO models is that it makes putting where the staircase is next to any other building not optimal, because I don't like how there's a gap in between the buildings and it usually shows off the less desirable looking side of the other building. Another critique of the set is that some aspects of the layout don't really make sense. Like for example, the apartment is only accessed through the second floor inside the clockmaker's workshop, and then one of the odder features is that underneath the stairs on the second floor is an openable flap, which they solve by putting a box there so that it doesn't fall through, but you can still lift it, and I don't see any reason why that's there instead of just a normal plate. And there's a window in that closet, which is an odd addition considering they normally wouldn't even put windows on the backs. And then with the upstairs apartment, it seems like the space wasn't really well utilized between the second and third floors, because I feel like the second floor with the clockmaker has a decent amount of empty space and a lot of clocks, and the third floor seems to not have enough space in the apartment, and they prioritized a whole bunch of cat toys over having a bed. So there's no bed in the apartment, and I know they aren't going to fit every single thing into every apartment in these sets, but there's no kitchen, there's no bed, there's no bathroom, and the only thing is it's a living room with cat stuff. I feel like they could have added more to that apartment and made it make more sense. Those are my thoughts on the Tudor Corner and the building of the set. Now I'd like to start with a ranking of all the modular sets that I have. I haven't done this in years past, but I figured after all the sets that I have, it would be a nice part of my review to each year add the new set to a ranking of modular sets to see how they compare. The categories I'm going to rank the sets on are exterior aesthetic, interior detail, placeability, usefulness, Easter eggs or playfulness, and specialness. And for the Tudor Corner, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 on exterior aesthetic, a 7 out of 10 on interior detail, an 8 for placeability, a 6 for usefulness, a 2 for Easter eggs or playfulness, and a 5 for specialness. That brings it to a total score of 37. According to the rankings derived from the table here, it gives it the 9th out of the 12 sets that I have, but based off of my initial gut ranking without using this rubric, I had given 8th out of 12, so it's in the middle of the pack. It's worth noting that I like all of the modular sets, and there's none on this list that I don't like, even the ones at the bottom, so even being near the bottom doesn't mean that I dislike the set. Lastly, I'd like to show this building within the rest of my city, see how it fits in, find the best buildings that it can be placed next to, and make it the most aesthetically pleasing modular city layout that I can. The Tudor Corner pairs best next to both sides of the police station, both sides of the Natural History Museum. The haberdashery side looks good next to Brick Bank, Corner Garage, Birch Books, and the restaurant side looks good next to the apartment from the Birch Books set. My favorite is the haberdashery side next to the detective's office. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next year, and I hope you enjoyed.